Welcome to the Irish News Rundown. Just give us a moment and we'll start the show. Well, hello there folks, welcome to yet another Irish News Rundown, live on YouTube. Unless you're watching this in the replay, then it's not live, go figure. It's something I started at the request of a subscriber, and I thought, well, this is a good idea, I'm going to keep doing it. Because I don't think there's many people out there that do it through my lens, and that is looking at the news and how fucking awful things are without actually, just rabbiting on about things you've already heard, giving you yet more examples of what you already believe. And I know that I can challenge your beliefs adequately because I am always trying to challenge my own. It's a very depressing image out there that we have in front of us. No matter where you live, I would actually say that it's even worse if you're Irish living in Ireland. It's just pure awful. The level of brainwashing that we're enduring. It's 1984 level stuff. But we can't afford to let that dictate our lives. Let that take over our emotions and our thought processes and affect even our physical bodies and our social lives, our family lives. This is a very real risk that we face when we stare into this abyss, this Nietzschean abyss. What he said, beware staring into the abyss, for after a while the abyss stares back into you. And be careful when battling with monsters, lest you become a monster yourself. That's a paraphrase, but it's a paraphrase of an English translation from German, so it's as likely accurate as the so-called official translation, so give me a break here. Right. So you guys want to see how fucking brainwashed Ireland is? By the way, the only reason why I'm on here today on a Sunday, I'm usually here on a Friday. I just really wanted to come and show off my new thumbnail for this series because I'm actually taking the series seriously, and I will do it every Friday. Unless, something comes up like family or whatever, I'll always have some goodies for you. This, it's not a completed work. If anyone out there can, grasp my vision of what I'm doing here and do a better job artistically. This is from They Live. Brilliant John Carpenter movie. One of the few films out there that teaches you how to resist. In the movie, it's an alien takeover. In real life, it might as well be an alien takeover because it's completely alien to us. There are just certain things that certain pitfalls that you can fall into. This movie highlights them very well, as well as being a very camp thing to watch. So you'll notice down in the corner there the logo of the Irish state broadcaster, RTE News. In order to get that little thing to put together this really shoddy piece of work, I had to go to the RTE News player, just the general player. They also play the news on demand. Like, who the fuck's watching that? And even the question is, who's watching it live on television? Who does that? Are they people over the age of 50? You know, it must be a generational thing. How do these people keep going? Oh yeah, that's how they keep going. They steal money from ordinary people in the form of the TV license. Yes, if you own a audiovisual device in your home that could potentially pick up signals, not anymore from the analog wavelengths because they've shut all those down in preference for digital signals, but any kind of signal, computers, laptops, smartphones, they get through the loophole, but some smart-ass politicians are trying to get around that. You have to pay 100 and something every year. I know it's not like €1,000, but it's something. And most people who pay it are already paying for their television in some form or another, including electricity, which, by the way, a lot of the electricity is still produced by the state. And it's just brainwashing. So I wanted to depict this. So I go to their player on the web, and I see this.
Hello and welcome to Saturday's main evening news and sport. The headlines. Abortion laws before the Dáil within weeks, but Health Minister warns against reopening the referendum debate.
Let's not try to recommence a campaign here or re-begin the debate.
Death sentence. Egypt condemns 75 people and jails hundreds more for their part in a protest 5 years ago. Swedish voters warned against dangers of fascism on the eve of a poll set to endorse far-right party. And bad for business, a cordon around the fire-damaged Primark store in Belfast could be in place for months.
It's like Dead Man City down there. It's like back to the Troubles again.
Okay, you just got a little slice of what this state broadcaster likes to inundate people with on a daily basis, on a quarterly daily basis. Just this fear, a mix of fear and also, for the most part, we're going to tell you what to think. The broadcaster is so heavily politically biased. Like, when I went to there to get the little thingy in the corner, I was astonished. I haven't actually watched television in fucking years, and even the news, I haven't watched that in even more years before that. Oh man, it's worse. Or maybe I'm just desensitized to it now. But it's like I'm in They Live and I have the glasses on and I see these ugly fucking faces telling me to obey, marry and procreate, take holidays, buy this, buy that. And let's just think of the terminology that was used in that roundup. Swedish warned ahead of poll. not a election or anything, but a poll that could support a far-right party. First of all, we all know this. They dictate who is far-right. And second of all, who's doing the warning? Is that a particular finesse of the way Radio Televisión is wording this? Or does Radio Televisión and the Swedish establishment think that it's okay to turn around to their citizens and say, yeah, I know you have this opinion, but don't have it. Vote elsewise. and why, you know, why are we up in the business of everyone else anyway? You know, why do we care what the Swedish people think and how they want to run their country? And why do we suddenly care what Egypt is doing to its citizens? We didn't care all that long ago. You know? Could we be being prepared for something? A war, maybe? That's a novel thought. And 5 years ago, am I right or am I wrong? Was that around the color revolutions? You know, that whole thing that George Soros openly admits to having a hand in? The thing that was framed as the Arab Spring? That's what it was, the Arab Spring. Well, really just the color revolutions 2.0. A further destabilization of the nation. Completely, maybe not completely, but definitely astroturfed to the nth degree by neoliberal forces outside of Egypt. Who are these individuals who are, you know, receiving this so-called disproportionate punishment? Could they be maybe technically Egyptian citizens, but actually be spies? That happens. Doesn't Egypt have the right to do with whom they wish, what they wish, in order to actually defend the integrity and sovereignty of their country? You know, say what you will about Egypt, Muslim Brotherhood and all that. Excuse-moi. Brown ale makes me gassy. Yeah, say what you want about them. I have my criticisms, but what business is it of mine? A lot of our problems come down to our business being where it shouldn't be. Like, truth be told, 99% of this immigrant influx that we're experiencing is because we had our nose in places where it doesn't belong. We destabilized Libya by killing Gaddafi. Well, we didn't. Some crazy fucking cunt across the ocean did. And that was a nice, easy corridor for the masses and masses of displaced or just dissatisfied Africans to flood on through into Europe and provide a lot of capital for the pirates who trafficked them across the channel, or the sea rather. Yeah, well, you know, this is a level of critical thought that's just completely devoid in this country. like completely missing in the minds of, I'd say, 93 to 97% of the population, just ballparking. We're in a dreadful state of affairs, and we get things thrown up in our face like this. This one of two news pieces of the day that we're going to look at. 4 Gardaí police suspended in cocaine probe won't face criminal charges. So basically the idea behind this, 2 Gardaí, I think, were having a night out in a club in Kildare, and a doorman saw them take a baggie of cocaine into a stall. There was a search. Nothing was found. Like on the day, their premises was searched, etc., etc. Still nothing was found. The courts have decided that they will not be punished. They will be basically let off. But the actual internal investigations of the Gardaí are going to continue the probe. Oh wait, no, actually I got that wrong. No, it's finished now. They've decided nothing has happened, but they have suspended these Gardaí. I don't know what exactly that means. I think maybe that's means something was done that shouldn't have been done. Maybe they were being punished for being sloppy. They didn't they weren't careful enough. They let the guard down. No pun intended. Or this is just, this is just a signal to the public. Oh, we're doing something about it. We suspended them. It's not our fault the courts aren't gonna prosecute. Well, the DPP prosecuted, but the courts decided that there wasn't anything in it. A lack of evidence of wrongdoing. Yeah, because, being caught in a club by a bouncer with a bag of cocaine, that's nothing. They have nothing to go on. Yeah, fucking right. If it was me and a friend of mine who went into the bathrooms to snort a line, then yeah, we'll definitely get locked up for a while, even if searches came up nil. I don't know if the quality of this broadcast is up to snuff, because the one live viewer has fucked off. So let's carry on with our investigation, into how brainwashed the Irish public are. Okay, so yeah, even before we had a free nation, a sovereign government all by ourselves, we have this beautiful little piece of legislation. Lunacy Regulations Act of 1872. Back when they, just threw people into institutions, just locked them away to forget about them, and that was the best case scenario. The worst case scenario was you're strapped down to a table and you had electricity run through your body, starting at your brain. Yeah, that's it. That's what they like to do to people. And was it Mark Twain? Was it? Oh man, if I got this wrong, I'm sorry, Mark Twain. Let's see, Mark Twain, mental institutions, Ireland. This is an interesting one. Ooh, what's going on here? Sorry, this isn't my usual browser. Before you continue to be blah 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 blah. Next. Oh Jesus. Go away. Go away. I agree. Whatever you want. No, I've gotten the wrong essayist and poet. God, I forget who it is. So, some guy, you know, you'll hear his, you know what, the, yeah, sorry, I'm doing things on the fly here. Jonathan Swift. Okay, Jesus Christ, I'm so uncultured. Yeah, Jonathan Swift, he opened the first loony bin. I forget what they call it, like an asylum, an insane asylum or whatever. That's some really derogatory name for them. He opened the first one in Dublin, in Ireland, ever. And then basically franchised. And he thought he was doing a great thing for the Irish people, you know. But it just turned out that, you know, it was a place to lock up dissident Irish. Not necessarily, you know, people in the IRA walking around with weapons and threatening the British establishment, but Irish people threatening the establishment with alternative consciousness, we'll put it that way. So here we have this relic, which nobody has ever thought to get rid of, you know? There was no committee at the beginning of the Free State. Sit down, you know, a special department. It would take a special department to go through all of that legislation before the founding of the Free State and look through all these things. Do we need this? Yes, no, and make an executive decision on the spot, rubber stamp it, whatever. No, this actually serves the powers that be in this country. They can just brand people as lunatic, idiot, unsound mind. So if you're an Irish citizen, watch it there, folks. Andrew McHolst said, woke up and a lot of things which I witnessed over the last few weeks went through my head. Supporting 2 cases where a person was declared a lunatic and of unsound mind by the President of the Higher Court, Judge Peter Kelly, who claims to be the successor of the Lord Chancellor, in order to use the 1871 Lunacy Against Citizens, who he claims are of unsound mind, lunatics and idiots. This case under an ancient and totally outdated Victorian law has to stop because the pain and suffering experienced by the affected persons and their families is borderline torture and is in clear violation of human rights and international as well as European law and the 1937 Constitution. Yeah, what happens when you have legislation from a colonial government left over and it hasn't even been reviewed by the courts to determine whether it's constitutional or not? See, this is the thing. We are brought up in this world with the idea that everything works the way it should, and that things are balanced and just and fair, and because we have X laws installed and people, you know, like the politicians and the media get up in front of the camera or on the podium and they say all the right things, we grow up with this naive idea that Things like this just don't happen. But hey, they fucking do, okay? Ireland has laws on its books in contravention to our constitution. Beautiful, isn't it? The applicant of the first case and myself are challenging the 1871 Lunacy Act in the Supreme Court very soon as an emergency leapfrog application coming from an Article 40 habeas corpus application appeal on constitutional grounds. I witnessed myself in court how citizens' constitutional rights have been taken away from them and their assets and properties being put under the control of the government against the wishes of the affected families. It is plainly shocking to witness in court how people are declared a lunatic and made ward of the court. Lunatic and ward of the court, mostly unheard and without any evidence given in open court. It is beyond me how a High Court judge and President of the High Court like Judge Peter Kelly, whose judgments against crooked solicitors I admire, is able to use this Victorian legislation sending citizens willy-nilly into wardship. This whole system is cruel, degrading, and plainly inhuman, and in stark contrast to all other modern mental health legislation in any civilized country. After a few weeks looking into the legal aspects of this, in my humble opinion, government and land asset grabbing exercise, I feel truly ashamed that this is going to be in our beautiful country. Meeting the involved citizens personally is simply heartbreaking, is simply breaking my heart and causing me sleepless nights. I will do my utmost best with the limited knowledge and means to have this inhuman carry on stopped. So help me God. And fair play to this mostly unknown person who, well, I can only assume is a solicitor. Stationary plane in the chat there. Exactly, mate. Glad people are waking up to it. And yeah, you know, this better change quickly, because, you know, people like you and me, you know, I know what your username means. People like you and me could so easily get fucking locked up as like, well, you're just mad, you are. You know, you have no control over your senses. You're not a rational and sane person. You can't take care of yourself because, you know, you believe that the European Union is a tyrannical mega state waiting to happen. You're a conspiracy theorist, you are. And it's funny that you know, we legalized gay marriage in this country, like what, a year and a half ago, was it? Like it was, I could have sworn it was last month, really, to be honest. And then they have the fucking gall to come along and tell us, hey, you know, we need to get rid of the right of the unborn child in our constitution because we're so backwards. And if we don't do this, we'll be so backwards. And if we do this, then everything will be great, everything will be fine, everyone will have their rights. Fucking bullshit. If you're locking people up for simply thinking differently, I'm sorry, but, you know, so-called women's rights be damned. And yeah, this is the limit of my content that I have for you guys. Again, do you like my my new thumbnail for this series? I usually go out every Friday. This is a kind of a thing I patched together. I had an idea of what I wanted. News anchors finally exposed in the movie They Live, for all the world to see. Aliens brainwashing the masses. Obey, marry and procreate. Consume And actually, just for good measure, let's watch this clip that I was inadvertently subject to while grabbing that little thing in the corner, RTE News, Radio Television. Just get a load of this. Any day now. Hello? Bloody thing. Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to Saturday's main evening news and sport. The headlines. Abortion laws before the Dáil within weeks, but Health Minister warns against reopening the referendum debate.
Let's not try to recommence a campaign here or re-begin the debate.
Death sentence. Egypt condemns 75 people and jails hundreds more for their part in a protest 5 years ago. Swedish voters warned against dangers of fascism on the eve of a poll set to endorse far-right party. And bad for business. A cordon around the fire-damaged Primark store in Belfast could be in place for months.
It's like Dead Man City down there. It's like back to the Troubles again.
Oh, that poor lady at the end. So traumatized by the armed struggle that carried on up until the 90s up in Northern Ireland. That seeing a burnt down building brings her back to the 1970s or 80s, you know, which I think, you know, by the looks for is where her primal trauma has started. Like, when I first heard that, when I was recording this little clip, I burst out laughing. And I know I shouldn't have, because trauma is very real. But Jesus Christ, come on. Get a grip of yourself, woman. It's a fucking burned down building. I'd get it if maybe, you know, the British Air Force bombed it or the IRA bombed it. But go on. And this whole thing about Simon Harris, our health minister, you know, getting up on the pedestal there and saying, let's not actually have a conversation about what it is we're doing here. Like, of course, on the surface, he's saying, you know, let's like, you know, we've already had the referendum. We've decided unborn babies don't matter. So let's not rehash this conversation. But what he's really saying is, and note that what they're going to do is basically either vote on or redress the proposed legislation that would actually give the framework of when an abortion can happen. He's saying, give me everything. Abortion up until 22 weeks. And you better not fucking say a thing about it. That's basically what this guy is saying. I saw a pretty cute meme there on Facebook that kind of encapsulates our situation, our governmental situation. Here, let's see if I can grab this off of Facebook real quick and pop it up on the screen. Our nation's government has been completely debased. Like, it's being prepped for the European mega-state to just take over us, because, you know, we're going to get to the point where we don't care anymore, or we just outright hate our government. And it's pretty sad to watch when nobody else is seemingly noticing this. It's partly why I jump on my radio station every Wednesday, or come here every Friday, because I feel so incredibly alone with this knowledge, and I want to infect you with my depression. I'm kidding, but no, people need to hear about this stuff. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Harris, Simon Harris, by the way. The gobshite that you saw in that news roundup. A college dropout, never had a proper job. Varadkar, our Prime Minister, half Indian, half English, fully gay, co-opted onto Fine Gael County Council, aged 24. Covini, I don't know what he does in the government. Expelled out of private school, never had a job. Owen Murphy, I don't know what he does either. Another who never held a real job. Common denominator, no life experience. They're running the country. That's what we're stuck with here, folks. Completely incompetent bunch of wankers. I feel like going all out Lord Ha-Ha, you know. Germany calling, Germany calling. You know, only this time on the side of the Russians. You know, when World War III kicks off, I'll just be like Lord Ha-Ha, hopping on the airwaves, telling people why they should support what they are being told are the enemy. But you know, even that's a stitch up. I'd rather live in Ireland occupied by the Russian Federation than live in Ireland occupied by the European megastate. I'll say it plainly like that. You know, just give us some common sense, guys. Give us some common sense. So that's the Irish News rundown on the 9th of September 2018. Unless y'all have some questions about the state of Ireland, what's going on for us, I'll give some time for you guys to communicate such things to me. If otherwise, I'm just gonna fuck off. But in the meantime, right, I've been opening the show for the last 2 weeks now with this brilliant Holst, Mars, the Bringer of War. It's almost Alex Jones-esque with the Imperial March. Fucking gobshite. I hope y'all out there in listening land know that that's a fucking psyop. Alex Jones being kicked off of even LinkedIn in a coordinated mass censorship. That's never happened before. And they made a real show of it. But hey, you know, because we're all worried about Alex Jones, we're actually not worried about the real people who actually get censored, like Jeff C., for instance. A brilliant source of knowledge, breaking down false flags, psyops, tireless, dedicated to the job. And yeah, for the last 7 years, just banned over and over again. Taken off of YouTube, taken off of the other platforms, Facebook. Nobody ever said anything, by the way. Nobody ever said anything at the scale, to the scale of when Alex Jones was so-called censored. When hundreds, possibly even thousands of good, ordinary people speaking their minds were just taken off one by one. People are fucking tools, man. They're fucking tools. Let's take a musical break, and we'll see what's cooking at the other side of this. Dead air. The most beautiful thing in broadcasting is dead air. And I don't care, man. I don't care. But better things to be worrying about. Some dead air, bruh. Well, if you're still listening, check out the description in this video. I won't be adding the sources. It's not worth my time. Only had 2 articles covered. But I hope I brought the message home that we're in a dire state. All over the world, really. All over the Western world. In terms of being brainwashed. China as well. But we mostly concern ourselves here with Anglosphere and wider Europe. And we're fucked. And the Irish are even more fucked than anyone else. So at least, you know, if you're feeling bad about yourself, pat yourself in the back. You're not Irish. And spare a thought for those of us who are. No, I can't take this shit too seriously for too long. I'll just fucking die. We might be back for a further live broadcast, and by we, I mean the Imperial we, or is it the Royal we? I don't know. I don't care anymore. I don't know, just for the crack, you know, if we can get some of the crew on board, because it's much easier to have a conversation on the YouTube live stream because of the software that's involved. It's much more direct. A lot less CPU gets burnt up by running a Skype call, if you'd believe it cripples my system. Also in the description you will find a link to a Discord server. I highly suggest that if you are enjoying this broadcast, then you join our Discord server. Good people in there. We've already got, how many? 7 very friendly folks. Well, 6. I don't know who that Deceptocracy guy is. But that's a pretty fucking awesome name, I have to say. He joined when I made the server like a year ago and did nothing with it. Haven't seen him since. Yeah, so, you know, come along and be a part of the crew, because we're all such nice people, lovely people. I'm trying to build a community here where we share good vibes as well as the depression of the world that is. It'd be nice to, you know, share resources and research to get quality information out there to people. Because we are the resistance. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance. Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot, like say 99% of what's out there posing as the alternative media are not so. They're fucking charlatans. If you heard about them, then chances are they're fucking charlatans. That's just the way the game is rigged, baby. It's rigged so that the internet becomes the television 2.0. And what can we do about it except just fight? Okay? Just put up resistance. Hey, this, you know, you gave us this, and now you're having second thoughts? Fuck you. That should be our attitude. Fuck you, big brother. You gave us this beautiful technology. You're not gonna fucking take it away from us now, okay? Back in the late 90s, everyone knew what the internet was. Well, everyone that was on it knew what it was and the capabilities of it. Yeah, that's the aim of Eclectic Vibrations Radio. Except for this broadcast, we are a fully audio service, a radio service that you can listen to from around the world, as well as a magazine for you to read. Because I'm trying to bring things back to a simpler time when, you know, we had the power in our hands. A little bit of magic, a little bit of archaic magic. So, yeah, jump on the bandwagon. Get in touch. I'm always looking for good people to network with and support as well. And as a closing thing, yeah, if you want to hear more, then when this thing goes live for replay on YouTube, I will have a link to the Eclectic Vibrations Radio channel. If you have interest in this broadcast, then subscribe to that channel, because that's where I'll be broadcasting from in about a week or two, depending on how much traction I get with that, because this is my personal channel where I just fuck around and try new things on. This was a new thing. Soon it will be an old thing, so it's time for it to have its rightful